Hi guys. It doesn't look like I'm going to be really able to record while the kids are in here for a couple of reasons. One, the Wi-Fi is really not reliable enough to keep it running for the 2 hours that we're here. Plus, between the bathrooms and the other classes that are here, it's just going to be really too loud to understand what each of the students are saying and what I'm saying on the recorder. So I'm gonna try and do a brief kind of update as to what each session goes over. Again, it'll still be very helpful that each student watches it, even if they were in the session, just to kind of review and see maybe they missed something the first time, and rewatching it again helps clear up some different things. So the first thing that we did today was we did some mental math. And we really focused in on that make a 10 strategy that we talked about yesterday. So just to review with the make a 10 strategy, if I had the problem 9 plus 6, sometimes this is hard to solve in your head quickly. And so if we can reconfigure, there we go. If we can reconfigure these numbers into easily a more solvable equation that's a little easier to visualize, we could break apart that 6 into a 1 and a 5. And one thing that we really wanted to make sure today that the students understood is that when we break apart into two smaller numbers, the value of those two numbers still has to equal the original number. So 1 plus 5 is worth the same amount as 6. This can't be 1 and 2 because that would not be the same value of 6. From here, we can add 9 plus 1 to make a 10. From there, we can add whatever number we had left over, or digit we had left over from breaking apart from 6, which would be 5. So now my new equation, once I've kind of rearranged my numbers, is 10 plus 5, which is a lot easier to do in our head than 9 plus 6. We took that strategy and even went a little further into using not only making a 10, but making multiples of 10. So if I had the equation 19 plus 8, I can still break apart my 8. This time I'm going to choose 2 and 6. Why? Oh, not 2 and 6, sorry. Holy moly. 1 and 7. Losing my marbles. 19 plus 1 gives me 20. While that is not a 10 specifically, it is a version of 10 is what we were saying today, a multiple of 10, which is just as easy to add with as 10. 20 is a very friendly number, just like 10 is a very friendly number. From here, all we have left is what's left over from 8, which gives us our 7. 20 plus 7 gives us the sum of 27. 19 plus 8 is 27. So these were some of the mental math strategies that we were working on today. You can easily quiz your child. It's mental math. They can do it in their head, or some of them are still trying to work this out with making a 10, so you can always give them paper if they need. Another thing that we are working on today is what is called expanded form. An expanded form is when we break apart a number, and we talked about it like number surgery. If I had the number, let's say 27, and I want to see what is actually inside that number, if I could break it and look inside, then I would see that this 2, it's not really written well, really means 20. It doesn't mean just 2. It actually stands for 20. It is written in the tens place, meaning 2 tens, aka 20. That 7 is written in the ones place, meaning it is worth just 7. So when we write the number 20 plus 7, we have written that number in expanded form. Another example of that, if I was doing, let's say, a 3-digit number, 436. I would expand that by saying that 4 is written in the hundreds place, meaning 400. That 3 written in the tens place, 3 tens, aka 30. 6 written in the ones place, aka 6. So again, when we break apart this number to fully write out what each digit means, that is called expanded form. we go. Expanded form. We did some other work with expanded form and playing with building different numbers, but I'm not going to go into that on this video. I might post another one later, or we might talk about it tomorrow when we do that lesson a little bit further or more in depth. But I want to switch gears to what we did with 40 book. So we're still working with the book Saturdays and Tea Cakes, and we were listening again for those sensory details, those details that the author includes to help us picture what's happening in our mind. It could be sounds, it could be smells, tastes, really anything that the author is using to describe just what's happening in that story in more detail. And again, that helps the reader because it makes them have that mental picture, or the mental movie, as I like to say, going on as they read that story. Because while Saturdays and Tea Cakes is a picture book, a lot of you are reading chapter books and they don't always have pictures. So it's important as a reader that you are able to make those mental pictures in your brain so you can better understand and enjoy the experience. You get to be the movie director, if you will. As you're reading and you're reading all these details that the author's giving you, you are creating the movie in your brain. Pretty awesome. Today's 40 book response that we started, you can rewatch the story online. It's posted underneath this video, I think, right down there. And the response that we're working on is right here. Let me grab it. It reads, there we go. Can you hear the sounds that Mr. Lamanek describes in your head? And so examples would be the crunching of gravel, that metal glider going crack, crack, the bell ringing. There's several other examples in that story. How do those sounds enhance your reading experience? Meaning, how do those sounds help you make your reading better or improve it? How does that help you as a reader? Reminder, for 40 book, it has to be a minimum total of 5 sentences. There are 2 questions. This is a 2-part response. So you already are writing at least 2 sentences just to answer each question. So if I were you, I would answer the question, can you hear the sounds? Yes, no. Give me an example. What are some sounds that you heard in that story? And how does that help you as the reader? Is it helpful to you? Maybe it's not helpful to you. You tell me. Lastly, talking about 40 book, my crew that was in here today, we were talking about kind of like a mini reward that we would like to do to reward those who have been working in their 40 book while we've been out of school for 6 weeks. And the reward that we came up with would be if you had 10 books, 10 40 book responses in your 40 book by the time we return to school on November 5th, then you will be invited to a pizza lunch provided by me. Yay, pizza lunch! So if you are able to get 10 40 books, one is right here if you do it. We've done one at the beginning of the school year when you guys were with me way back when. That's really 8 books. And remember, chapter books, as long as they're over 100 pages, count as 2 books. So plenty of time. Get some books read, write some responses to me. Dear Miss Miller, tell me about the story. If you have 10 books, responses, by the time you come back to school November 5th, I will buy you pizza lunch. Happy reading!